Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. I want to ask you about the Keystone State. I want to ask you about Pennsylvania. It's a very swingy swing state, you know. I'm sure you know.
Swing.
56% of the state voted for you, okay, in 2022.
Yep.
But then in 2024, 50.4% of the state also voted for Trump. So there's likely some overlap between those voters. Have you talked to those people and said, what's the commonality between what you think I'm going to give you and what you think he's going to give you?
I talk to them every day.
Okay.
I show up in their communities every day. These are folks, these are good folks. And they're folks that, frankly, they've gotten frustrated over time because they saw governments just not solving problems for them. They saw too many people getting a raw deal. They saw too many people getting an unfair advantage. And I show up in their communities. I speak to them honestly about that. I show up in communities where Democrats often don't go, especially in our rural areas. And I not only listen to them, I learn from them. I go back to those communities and I deliver for them.
So what do they say? What do they say? I'm just curious, like, what do they say they saw in you that they also saw in the president?
You know, I think what they saw in me is someone who gives a damn about them, who treats them with respect, whether they go to college, they go to the military, they go to a union apprenticeship program. They saw in me someone that could actually cut through it and solve their problems. Now, the difference between me and the president is he shows up in those areas, he talks a good game, and then when he gets to govern, he does the exact opposite. I was showing up in rural areas where Donald Trump was showing up, and he was pledging to not cut people off of Medicaid. And then what's the first big thing he does? He goes and he cuts 310,000 Pennsylvanians off of Medicaid with this bill they just passed, including 154,000 in communities that voted for him. When I ran for office and he ran for office, we both ran with the support of local police. What have I done? I've hired more police. We've gotten them more training. We've brought crime down 38% in Pennsylvania. What did Donald Trump do? Literally, his first official action was to pardon people who assaulted cops on January 6th and sent some of those cops to their death. So what Donald Trump has done with the power is turned his back on those communities that voted for him. He's abandoned them, and he has made their lives worse. My focus every day is on making their lives better.
Well, what do you do? I mean, to me, there's something hopeful in the fact that there's overlap between your voter bases there. So how can you like use that to actually find an answer in there?
Yeah.
Because clearly something is terribly broken in our politics, and it can't just be everybody go to their corners. Well, what do you do to really show those communities that it doesn't have to be my team versus your team all the time?
I actually think when I show up in these areas, most folks aren't thinking my team versus yours, red versus blue, left versus right. They just want you to solve their problems.
Like what?
So I show up. So look, I was in rural Potter County the other day. This is on the northern tier of Pennsylvania, right along the New York State border.
That's where It's a Wonderful Life is filmed, right?
No, a little different place, but it's called God's Country.
Yes,
in Potter.
I was joking. It's a Wonderful Life. It's not a real movie.
Yeah,
it's fictional. Mr. Potter. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
We'll edit this part out later.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you why I was there. Because I had read in the newspaper about a month earlier that a gas pump in this community that is the stop along a 600-mile stretch of people who are ATVers and snowmobilers that's attached to a general store that's been in this community in Germania for over 100 years, that underground tank that stores the fuel had cracked and the fuel was leaking, it wasn't operational. Read about it in the paper, called my great chief of staff, said, we got to fix this, and within a few weeks, we got funding to be able to fix that gas tank. Now, to a lot of folks, that's just a gas tank. It didn't really mean a lot. But you see, understand that gas tank is a lifeline for that community. It shows respect to that community if you understand the needs they have and fix them. And it's a tangible way government can actually make their lives better. Not just for the ATVers and the snowmobilers who are now going to have a place to fill up, but it means that general store that's been around for a century is sustained. It means that the people in that community are treated with respect. And it shows that government can get things done. You know, my motto as governor of Pennsylvania is GSD, get done. That's what we do every day, and that's an example of it. That's a real-life example.
Governor, thank you so much for being here. We got to go, unfortunately. Lovely to talk to you. Please come again.
I will.
You got 10 months. Governor Josh Shapiro, everybody. We'll be right back with a performance by Alex